Jacksonville Jaguars fans, welcome into Duval Daily, presented by GenJag.com. I'm Jordan DeLugo. Thank you so much for being here. Tuesday, July 15th, and we are one day closer to Jacksonville Jaguars training camp, which means we're one day closer to the preseason, which means we're one day closer to the Jaguars kicking off their 2025 campaign in early September. Cannot wait for the NFL season to start, for the Jaguars season to start. Trevor Lawrence, he was on Pardon My Take. We're going to talk about what he had to say about the Jaguars, their offense, his health, all that good stuff right here and right now. Really appreciate y'all tuning in. If you enjoy the content, please like and subscribe. You can also check out genjag.com/shop, pick up some new Duval gear. It is the final day to pre-order our Cool Cats Club tee over on genjag.com/shop. You can get that, again, final day to pre-order. So really appreciate y'all being here. Please hit that like and subscribe button once again. So Trevor Lawrence joined Pardon My Take, which, Pardon My Take, it's an entertainment show, right? So just a little bit about me, if y'all don't know. I don't pay attention to a lot of the football entertainment shows. I care a lot more about analysis. I care more about the actual football. So this isn't the type of stuff I regularly tune into, but these guys are pretty funny. And Trevor Lawrence was on the show. I think he joined the podcast around the 1 hour and 12-minute mark and was with them for, about 40 minutes, close to 45 minutes, something like that. So just really good opportunity for Jags fans to, get to hear Trevor Lawrence talk for a long time and kind of in a much more casual setting than what you're used to. But to me, what was most important was hearing about his health. He participated in a golf tournament recently and did well. He said, obviously, if I'm out here playing golf, my shoulder's doing well. That left shoulder, it was impacting his ability to kind of spin it, to put his, the rotation into his throws that he's normally able to do. But he's fully healthy now after the offseason shoulder surgery. And we already knew that. We've seen him out at OTAs and minicamp and all that good stuff, throwing and looking completely 100%. So the big thing here is Trevor Lawrence was asked about, kind of his expectations and how he's feeling about the Jaguars offense, and he's fired up. I think that he's really excited. He's really comfortable with the current offense, and that's Trevor Lawrence will never say it, but I think that there was obviously a lack of confidence from Trevor, not in himself, but in the offense at times last year. I think you just look at the Cleveland game, week 2, first half of that game, he was not making certain plays that he normally makes. And he started making more plays in the second half of the game and had the Jaguars close, but couldn't get it done. I think that there was clearly a lack of confidence. And when you lose a Christian Kirk, when you lose an Evan Ingram, like the injuries that they had last year, when the offensive line is kind of struggling, when the coaching staff is putting together offensive game plans and there's really no ability to consistently run the ball. And again, your top receivers are out, and you have an offense that really just is lifeless in a lot of ways, does not have a passing game that's really well thought out, well established. It's tough. It's a really tough situation. He didn't play his best ball. He did have some really nice games, and he had some really nice stretches of play throughout games. You look at some of those games later on in the year, and against Miami, played well, but he's in a much better situation now. Trevor Lawrence said he loves the situation he's in now. Absolutely loves it. And I would too if I'm him. Going back and looking at, what Baker Mayfield was able to do with Liam Cohen as his head coach, as his offensive coordinator. And Liam Cohen, look, he's not Doug Petersoning this thing. He's not gonna, stop calling plays. Like, he is the play caller for the Jacksonville Jaguars. I think that's a big part of why he is here. We've got Murray whining at the door. I'm gonna go help her out. Sorry about that. So, big part of the reason that Liam Cohen is here is that he's going to call the offensive plays. He's going to be the trigger man, so to speak, for the offense. And what an offense he can coach. We went over it last week, late last week, just like the motion, pre and at the snap motion. It's not just motion for the sake of motion. It literally is so intentional and so well orchestrated and so well thought out, and the play sequencing. We also talked about the ability to weaponize the screen game in a major way. The Jaguars have been one of the worst screen teams in the league, and Liam Cohen has proven that he can be one of the best coaches when it comes to utilizing the screen at a high clip, but also utilizing it effectively, right? We talked about that last week as well. And then there's just so many easy button throws, and then you transition kind of from, and also the entire thing makes the job easier for everyone. Makes it easier for the quarterback, the running backs, the offensive line, the receivers. And then you talk about the offensive weapons. I really think, as much as folks might want to around the web, around national media, analysts, whatever, they're kind of putting the Jaguars in the middle tier when it comes to offensive weapons of the league, because you have Travis Hunter, who's a rookie, because Travis Etienne's coming off a down year. But to me, the Jaguars' offensive weapons and the Liam Cohen offense are going to be lights out. I think they're going to be scorched earth. And I'm going to do a show on Travis Etienne, why I think that he could just have a massive season. This is going to be the best group of skill players that Trevor Lawrence has ever played with. It's going to be the best offense that Trevor Lawrence has ever played in. And he talked about that. He talked about how this offense is working around the league. He talked about Kevin O'Connell in Minnesota, and obviously the Jaguars offensive coordinator Grant Udinski was a big part of what was going on in Minnesota. Only 29 years old, absolutely crazy. And then talked about Tampa and this system that they're bringing over, which is going to employ a lot of motion, a lot of screen game, a lot of, again, the easy button throws where you're able to scheme guys open. And when you're able to scheme the talented players open that the Jaguars have, Brian Thomas Jr., one of the most talented wide receivers in football, bar none. Travis Hunter, who I think is one of the most talented receivers in football, bar none. Travis Etienne, who, again, you give him the ball in space, he is going to eat. He's going to have a big year. So I really look at this group, those being the top three, and then you also add in Brenton Strange, who I think can play at a high level, De'Ami Brown, who I think can be a good wide receiver 3, Tank Bigsby, Bashal Tootin, Lee Quint Allen, all these guys, Parker Washington. I think the Jaguars have a really good group of skill position players. I think that they have a really good coaching staff on the offensive side of the ball. And now they have to evolve, right? You can't bring over exactly what you were doing 100% of the time in Tampa. And to be honest, like, Liam Cohen wasn't doing everything the same 100% of the time in Tampa. He was having to switch things up a lot because he had to deal with Mike Evans' injuries, Chris Godwin's injuries. Cade Otton became a feature part of the offense. They transitioned their run game from a primarily zone rushing attack to a gap power scheme attack because that's what was working. So Liam Cohen knows how to pivot and change things up, which is another huge feather in his cap compared to the previous regime. The defense matters too, and we'll see how that plays out. But Trevor Lawrence is excited about the situation he's in. He's extremely, uh, in my opinion, kind of blessed based on what he has now compared to what he had. And obviously, he deserves it as much as anyone because you come in year one as a first overall pick and you're saddled with Urban Meyer and that debacle. And then you feel like you have this resurgence, this new life, kind of coming into the organization with Doug Peterson, and then Doug Peterson and Trent Baalke, they don't work together well, and Doug Peterson kind of loses that fire. He absolutely did, and he stopped innovating. He stopped calling plays. He just lost his mojo. And so Trevor's like, damn, I thought we had something here with Doug early on. And then that clearly wasn't the case. And now you actually do have something special because I think you not only have it with the coaching staff, you have it with the players around you. Again, the one thing I would have done differently this offseason on offense is spend a little bit more of an investment on the interior of the offensive line, trying to get a big time veteran starter instead of a stopgap center, in my opinion. But that's the only change I really would have made. I think this is going to be a really good group offensively. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. And Trevor Lawrence, rightfully so, loves his situation. I'm fired up to see it. Can't wait for training camp to get started later next week. And then obviously it's all about September. Getting ready for September, getting ready for the Carolina Panthers. Let me know what y'all think about the Jaguars offense, Trevor Lawrence, the situation he's in, all that good stuff in the comment section below. And y'all have a good one.